NATO leaders arrived in The Hague on June 25, 2025, for a pivotal summit focused on significantly raising defense spending amid heightened security concerns in Europe. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof, German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius, Estonian Prime Minister Kristen Mihal, Finnish Foreign Minister Elina Valtonen, and other heads of government and ministers were seen entering the summit venue ahead of key discussions. Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof emphasized the summit's two main goals: achieving unity on the new defense spending target, whether 2.5% or 1.5% of GDP, and ramping up the defense industry to strengthen Europe's military capabilities. Schoof highlighted the ongoing Russian aggression in Ukraine as the backdrop driving the urgency to boost deterrence, defense, peace, and prosperity.
As the Netherlands is concerned, we want to achieve two things today. Unity on the decision for the 3.5% and 1.5%, and at the same time make sure that we really ramp up also our defense industry, so that we're capable to strengthen our defense in itself. And that behind the backdrop of what's happening in Europe with the Russian aggression war going on in Ukraine.
Do you fear that unity that you crave, that you said is absolutely pivotal, can happen?
Oh, it's much too early to talk about any repercussions. I mean, today is an important decision-making process, and I'm sure we find unity about the decision process. That's important. That's what also the Secretary General worked on also the last few days. So I'm sure and confident that we reach that unity and that we ramp up our defense spending, if we ramp up our defense industry, and therefore can deliver to the people in Europe deterrence and defense and peace and prosperity.
Estonian Prime Minister Kristen Mihal stressed the need to accelerate defense capabilities and industry, pointing out that Russia produces ammunition in 3 months what NATO members produce in a year. She described Russia as an acute threat to NATO and the European Union and called for preparedness rather than fear. Finnish Foreign Minister Elina Valtonen reaffirmed NATO's collective defense principle, Article 5, expressing confidence that U.S. President Donald Trump remains fully committed to the alliance. The summit is expected to endorse a new, ambitious NATO defense spending target of 5% of GDP by 2035, up from the current 2% goal set in 2014.
We need to ramp up our defense capabilities and defense industry, because if you look at the performance, Russia in 3 months is producing the ammunition that NATO members are producing per year. So that means that we need to ramp up our defense expenditure and industry.
Right, and that there will be an attack on a NATO country.
We know our neighbor, to be honest. We know Putin. And until Putin changes his goals, probably Russia is an acute threat to all the NATO countries, all the NATO members, European members, Union members, to be honest. And I would say that we should not be afraid, but we should be prepared. And to be honest, it's our neighbors Finns' motto, but we shall be prepared. And investing in defense probably helps to be prepared, not afraid.
This includes 3.5% allocated to core defense, troops, weapons, and equipment, and an additional 1.5% for broader security-related investments such as infrastructure adaptation, cybersecurity, and energy protection. While most members have agreed to this target, Spain has opted out, citing it as unreasonable. The proposed spending increase responds to U.S. pressure, particularly from President Trump, who has repeatedly urged NATO allies to shoulder a greater share of collective defense costs amid Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine. The summit also aims to strengthen NATO's deterrence and defense posture in the face of evolving geopolitical threats. As the alliance grapples with the challenge of meeting these new spending benchmarks, the summit serves as a critical platform for reaffirming unity among member states and setting the course for NATO's future capabilities and strategic priorities.